when you have the money that I currently have in real life, you're going to be more frugal. When you have $500,000, I think I'd be a little bit more liberal. When you have 600 billion, I don't know if I'd think about it much anymore.
No, yeah, you kind of just do what you want at that point.
Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
Nolan, but my friends call me Link.
And this is episode 378. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has released worldwide. We have all had a chance to spend at least a few hours in and above and underneath Hyrule.
Yeah.
And I've got to get your initial thoughts on the game. Tell me, what are your feelings so far? Is that mind blown?
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted Breath of the Wild 2, but with something cool and new. And
well, you got the first part.
Literally. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, you go next. What are your thoughts?
Okay,
critic?
I'm at the same time unimpressed, impressed.
You don't. I know what you mean,
Okay.
but you might as well not even say I'm unimpressed.
No, I have okay. Let me go through them. I'm unimpressed because
justify yourself.
to me, so much of it is copy paste. I also was in the camp of, hey, Breath of the Wild 2, let's go for it. I loved Breath of the Wild 1. I didn't expect it to be so much Breath of the Wild 2, to be honest with you. Like from all of the, not all of, but a lot of the music to all of the visuals to so many things, it's copy paste.
See, I'm so glad they did.
Really?
Like, I wanted an overt sequel, basically.
Okay.
And so,
Yes.
yeah, it works for me.
You're getting it. And let me give you one other thing that has been unimpressive to me, not just in this game, Breath of the Wild, and so many other games. I think these worlds are too big for no reason. And that was a complaint for Breath of the Wild. There's so much world to traverse, and there's not tons to do in it. There is more so maybe in this one, but
I think that Breath of the Wild and this game are exempt from that last part you said. There is so much to do in those worlds compared to the games that you're talking about, because there are a lot of open world games that are like, please quit making open world games and just make a linear story game, and it will be so much better. Like
climb something.
But
find a Korok seed.
I don't have to climb anymore.
Harvest some food.
Kenny, no more climbing for me.
Saying,
they add a cheat in.
Shove yourself through a giant piece of rock magically.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
care
Okay.
what you do, but do it.
That's how I'm unimpressed. I'm impressed. I like the new abilities. I like their combinations. I even like the one that Nolan thinks is cheating, going through the
Ascend
ceiling
is cheating.
of anything.
Take climbing out of the game. If that's-
And I like the story beats. There haven't been many, but I do. But there's been a good amount, and I like the story beats and the mystery and what we're doing there. And then I'm pressed because with the abilities and what they've created, there's too many options. I like linearity. I like rules. I like walkthroughs, and all of that is just thrown out the window for go play Minecraft.
So you live squarely inside the box.
Oh yeah, there's a
And
box
you want
for a
someone
reason.
Yeah, and you want someone else to have built the box for you.
And color in the lines, and then give me a guide.
and then slap
Yeah.
it on a shield.
That's not this game for sure.
Well, no, but I'm with Kenny. I think that I'm with both of you. Actually, this is interesting because I really love traditional Zelda.
Yes.
And Breath of the Wild wasn't that, but I still
We're far
love Breath
from
of the
traditional
Wild.
Zelda.
Far from it. Broke the entire system. But they did it so well that you have to like it. And yes, that game's a 10 out of 10 and it deserves all the praise, and I loved it. And so, despite that, I still miss my classic Zelda games like OOT and Twilight Princess and all those that have the normal formula of like heavy dungeon, item hidden inside, that kind of gameplay. So when they said Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, dang it. But also happy. And yes, this is a lot of the same, But that's good because the first one was so successful and did it so well that, yeah, why not more? And they took the creativity and the experimentation of the first one and doubled it by adding the fusing mechanic. So yeah, it is micro.
I think the gimmick will work here. It may not work for everybody. Like, some people will love it. Some people will bounce off of this one that enjoyed the first one because of that mechanic. But I also don't think that will stick around. I feel like it's going to be that's what Tears was. I don't think this is going to be a pivot to the direction that Zelda games go moving forward. They do experimental stuff and they like mess with stuff and change things. There's still sort of a core. And so I don't think you need to be long-term worried.
Money talks.
Very loudly in this case.
And when Nolan, you've actually said this. You said it before I did and it caught in my mind. But like, they are now creating Zelda for the masses. And I'm fine with that. I think it's a smart move. More people are getting into it than ever before. But in doing so, they're making it for the masses, which means that a lot of the old things are going to be left behind, maybe for good. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we'll still have the handheld releases that are traditional and remakes.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That said, I want to be clear that we are all thoroughly enjoying it. I've been enjoying it more and more, honestly. I was immediately intrigued as I started, and then it kind of dulled a little bit. And then in the last few gaming sessions, it has picked up some when I've just kind of let myself go into it. I think there are far too many options. I think we're going to see some memes come out of this of the most absurd monstrosities being put together.
Absolutely. There's no doubt that'll happen. But Dustin, you've got the option to kind of just like play the story. You don't have to lean hard into that stuff. Like,
I'm
that
also
option,
a completionist.
I know, but the option of like go crazy and build yourself a house on the side of the road because you think there will be a Korok seed, even though that's nonsense, is there, but you don't have to take it. So like, play the game your way.
Well, should we stop recording and go play?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good episode, guys.
No. All right. As a part of the celebration, we are partnering once again with Chomps, Hyrule's best meat sticks. If you go to meatarrows.com, you can not only get your free sample pack of succulent sticks to chomp on, which we've all done, and they're coming in the mail right now.
Yeah, I've been chomping.
But you can enter for a chance to win a limited edition OLED Switch, which I don't think any of us have the OLED.
No,
I don't.
We've
I have
all got
OG.
the boring original ones.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to play
stick drift.
I would love to play Tears of the Kingdom with the feature of stick drift.
Yeah,
I would love to play on my new OLED Switch. No purchase necessary. You can just put in your details and be entered to win that and many other prizes, including a year's supply of free meat sticks.
I'll take that deal. That's a good deal, folks.
Yeah. I want the meat sticks more than the Switch.
Real quick, let's just blaze through. What is your favorite flavor fusion in honor of Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, that's easy. It's the jalapeno one, the jalapeno beef, which is a combination of a spicy pepper, a beef, and an arrow.
Nice. Oh, that's your fusion. Yeah.
The fusion.
Kenny?
I'm spear on this one. I'm all original. I just want like meat on meat, and so give me original. My fusion is just beef.
Original turkey or original beef?
No, beef. I said beef.
I thought so.
Okay, and
turkey up in here.
Great segue for me because the turkey is the one that I like. So I like going out with my arrows, taking a turkey in the wild, putting it just on the cook fire, fusing them together. This is Tears of the Kingdom talk, and I love turkey. I also love those jalapenos. Those are really good.
Yeah, they go hard.
Again, meatsticks.com. And if you do want to make a purchase while you're there, you can use the code NGP podcast at checkout for 15% off of anything that you purchase. All of those links are in the show notes. Well, we are just a few hours into Tears of the Kingdom, and it looks like we are completely invested. Some would say we're bought in. And I think over time it will only be an inflation of our feelings by a large margin.
Okay, you gotta be kidding me.
Mutual funds. Roth IRA.
Quit just saying words.
Taxes.
That's not how segues work.
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan and Rebucks. Like in our retro game of the week, Wall Street Kids.
Overview.
Tears of the Kingdom is a no.
Yeah, no, I'll do that episode.
Like, let's
It's
just
pretty much all we're going to talk
let's
about
just
today.
do a whole episode on.
I'd rather do that and
Tears.
talk about. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Wall Street Kid, a 1989 RPG.
I mean, I heard some reviewers or saw that some reviewers were calling it that. So yeah, sure.
I've seen so many different things.
Veto.
From tycoon, I almost said social stimulation, strategy, point and click, but I'm going with RPG.
I wrote point and
It's
click.
not.
And I'm sticking
Kenny,
with it.
don't make me ask you the normal questions of are you playing a role and are you playing a game?
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not.
Then what is it, Kenny? Is it a point and click?
No, it's a simulator.
Yeah.
Stimulator.
It's a tycoon game or a simulation game.
I'll take that,
Okay.
but it's also point and click.
Well, by point and click, it's not
Sort
on the
of.
PC. It is on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And so you are using your D-pad, your two buttons to move a cursor around and click. This game was developed and published by Sofel, which you don't know anything about, and neither do we.
No, never heard of them.
It is, you can tell by the title, a game that has to do with Wall Street, has to do with making those dividends. It has to do with raising inflation and tax percentages and putting your money where your mouth is. Guys, coming into this game this week, I'm talking about before this week because I'm sure now our level of expertise is through the roof. Before this week, what was your level of stock market knowledge?
Moderate.
Ooh, moderate to severe?
You'd be surprised to know that I do understand and know and
I wouldn't
partake
be
in
surprised.
some of them.
You a day trader?
He's
Of course not.
He's an options trader.
Stop, I'm not a
He's-
day trader. I don't do that, but I invest in mutual funds.
You invest in Bitcoin, okay.
Diversified
Kenny,
mutual funds that I don't
Oh.
even manage. Y'all need to. It's just free money over time.
wow.
He's
Kenny,
about to buy them yachts.
what was your level mansion
I
first?
would.
What was your level of stock of SMK stock market knowledge?
Mortal Kombat.
Okay, my SMK comes from two areas. 7th grade math, where we did stock market simulation
Fun.
as like
That's
kinda
cool.
cool.
huge, like
Cool teacher.
the thing we did. And let me tell you, I made some bank,
Really?
and then
Oh,
reading Reddit, which is not the place to get stock
the
market
GameStop thing?
knowledge.
Is
Yeah.
that- okay.
Yeah, and so stonks and old school, open up your newspaper, which segues well into the game this week, and like pick some stocks kind of trading is my world.
My knowledge is severe to limited. I don't want to know about those
Severe
things.
to
I just want to. I would like to live my life paying people to make me money, but I do know more than I let
That's what
on.
they do.
I just don't want people to know because I think that's lame. I have a Roth IRA. Opened it up
Good.
at 18, so
Very good.
dude. I am
Very
gonna. I'm gonna have $600 billion in my account.
Do
by
you
the time
contribute to it?
that I graduate? Right, graduate. Yes, I fill it up every year. Or try.
There you go. Listen though.
Yes.
You would be a good Wall Street guy. IRL, I think.
No,
No, he just said I want to pay people to I want people to make money for me, and that's exactly what these guys do. That's all they do. They don't do anything. They just read. They read every day. It's green.
The newspaper.
It's red. No, they just read lines on a screen now and news articles. Oh yeah, it looks like Ford's making some moves this year in electric vehicles. Let's invest. That's all they do.
Well, wherever our knowledge was before this week, moderate,
Sorry,
severe,
Wall Street.
anywhere in between, it
yeah.
is
Now
all.
I'm a pro.
Yeah, now we're all pros because we role played as the Wall Street Kid this
Stop.
week.
As Arnold Benedict.
Is his name Arnold?
I'm assuming so. It
What?
never says, but
I
the
th-
game is so full of puns,
thought
and we know
Lyle.
his last name is Benedict, that his first name has to be Arnold.
I'm not following you, but I'll let
I'm
you
not
do
either.
you.
You mean eggs?
Okay. No, I
Wow.
mean his
No, it
last
means
name is
eggs.
Benedict.
It means
not
eggs.
eggs.
Okay, listen.
Arnold.
In this game, you are the Wall Street kid, and you are playing in the world of high risks and big rewards. You are willed a sizable sum of money. Guys, I don't think the developers knew how much this was.
I know,
No.
600 bill, $500,000.
Well, hold
I
on,
was just
600
reading-
bill. That alone is more than anyone in this world
Right.
has. But
Right.
back then, it's trillions of dollars.
It had to be a
Huge,
joke.
huge amount. I trust what people say on the internet, and so I have no idea if this is true. But
It
in
is.
talking about this, someone said at the point that this game came out, $650 billion would have been like 10% of the U.S. GDP. Like
Yeah,
literally,
like-
like 10% of the entire economy.
If you get this money, you are going to be the richest person in the universe by a significant margin. But
Yep.
there is a catch. You must prove yourself by taking $500,000 worth of seed money. It's another term, jot it down in your journal, to invest, jot it down, into the stock market.
There will be a
And
quiz.
make as much money as you can in 1 month's time. Are you up for the challenge?
Cha-ching!
Gameplay.
Point and click games on the NES just ain't good. They just ain't.
I think
It is a very bad idea.
point and click games on consoles. I don't even know if it has to do with the NES.
I think
or-
it can
Yes.
work on more modern ones or even joystick ones.
but it's never
If
going
it-
to be as good.
no.
If it feels like you're supposed to have a mouse and you don't have a mouse, even if you have the option for a mouse, Super Nintendo, whatever, it's
Right.
it's a very, 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 very bad choice.
It's just slow moving cursor.
Can we
D.
point the picture? Nice. Can we paint the picture of what this is though? Because it is not a game in the traditional sense of
You're not
every
looking
other
for
game that
items.
we've played on this podcast.
Okay,
uh,
I'll tell you. I'll paint. I'll
paint.
I
paint.
mean, it's a game.
Listen, for a lot of you, you sit at your computer all day to work or to game or both, like I do. And I mean, it feels like this game to me felt like you're sitting down at your desk at a computer, and they successfully made it feel like you're at work. Like,
What you see on the screen is your office. So you've got your desk and your office wall in front of you, a clock that's hanging on the wall, and your time is ticking down. You've got your computer, an old like IBM or something.
Apple II.
Yeah, Apple II, whatever you've got in front of you. You've got the newspaper there, which is
Phone.
super important. Is it a phone?
the pager.
I mean, there's a
thingy,
phone
whatever.
in your office. I don't think you see it on the desk.
Well, my thing is the reason why I even paused there is because one of the items is a barometer, which
Oh.
is like who has a barometer
A
on their desk
barometer.
first of all, and that's how you go and work out and do the other things.
Yeah.
But the idea is
How
that
did you know this was a barometer? Because it was a
manual?
complete mystery.
the manual.
Oh, you always
Okay.
be reading the manuals.
I
dude.
always be. And so you are day by day, that is what you're looking at. Every single day, you are moving your cursor around to click on one of those things that I mentioned in order to primarily buy and sell stocks every single day. And your goal is to make money. Your first goal, you have some goals along the way. Your first goal is to make $1 million to buy a mansion. But while you're doing so, you've also got to take care of your physical health and your relational health with your girlfriend, Priscilla.
Yes.
Which makes it sound way less shallow than it actually is in the game.
Gosh.
It's like it really isn't like mini games. We need to say that, but
Yes, it's different.
it's like it's more simish than anything else because of those other factors. Because like, yeah, you're buying stock, but like a lot of the game is really goofy, like trying to date somebody and keep up appearances of a. It's like it really does feel Japanese to me. This feels an extremely Japanese view of Wall Street and like of Americans and what they value, and it felt so funny and vain. That's the gameplay loop, is taking care of appearances Oh yeah. Also, to do that, you buy and sell stock.
Isn't that what Wall Street kids do?
It is, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. Also, what was up with that random April Fool's joke in the beginning? Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was so
That made
bad.
I'm
it
still
wasn't the
baffled
only.
by it.
Usually when that happens, you're like, everything I just said, just kidding, got you.
Right.
He was just like, by the way, happy April Fool's, but what I just told you is true. Why'd they do that?
I think they were just setting the date that because right after that. But the crazy thing is you don't even start then on April 1st or April 2nd. You start on April 3rd. So like
What happened those 2 days?
They're trying to give you a frame of time reference because time is important here. Time is
Yeah,
money.
it is. Time
If
is money.
someone told me you had a shot at winning $650 billion,
Quit saying 50. It's just 600 billion.
okay, well, it might as well be.
Throw on that $50
If someone
billion
told
bonus.
you had a chance to earn $1 billion, even,
I would want 600 more.
you would need a day to recover.
Yeah, and you
from
don't
that
start
news.
jobs immediately. You accept a job, and then you have like a 2-week period where you're just chilling, playing games.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
good. That's what
You
happened.
think Wall Street kid has time to play games? Listen,
No.
every 7 seconds the clock advances 15 minutes. So you have a limited amount of time each day to get your stuff done.
What if it was
And
IRL
Sure.
time?
You are
Which is
primarily
not a problem.
you've got plenty of time. Each and every day, though,
Yeah.
you're first given your newspaper like you were back in 1989, and you look at the newspaper. It gives you a few highlights of the week, but one of the things that it does is tell you which stocks are rising. And so you use that information along with other information that you glean from other people or from studying individual stocks to buy lots of shares.
Shares.
Well, you're buying them in lots, which I believe is 1,000 shares, which I didn't know in my first place.
It's a
So
chunk of shares.
immediately gave all my money into one thing instead of what I know diversifying is important.
You went so ham when you did that. I was like, oh no, he has no money left. And then you looked at how much money, and you were like,
Yeah.
I hope they do well.
Just put everything in there. I would have liked to know that before I spent all my money on Firedmans.
Right. Right. I wrote down some of my favorite companies
Yeah.
that you could invest in this week.
Let us know.
Boeing,
Is that Boeing?
Boeing,
Yeah.
Cryer instead of Chrysler,
Chrysler? Yeah.
Yeah.
Strayhound, and American Depress.
Yeah, American Depressed was a good named one, although I didn't put much in there. Firedman's was my primary one, although I did invest into Rebucks every once in a while. And just for fun, there's, what is it, Rattle Toys? Rattel Toys instead of Mattel Toys?
Yeah, Rattel.
But they've got, all of those are, I mean, you're catching on, right? But they're like parody business names. So you have C. Schwab instead of Charles Schwab.
AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T.
Yapple.
Yapple instead of
I feel like
like
the AT&T was not different enough, and they would have got pissed.
No,
if
it
they
literally
did it
is.
well.
none
it
of them
was.
are that creative.
know.
But you are doing that. You can only have 5 different stock options at a time, even if they're all from the same. If you bought them at a
Right.
different time, you can only have 5. So you're not having, which is nice, you're not having to manage tons and tons and tons. But you buy and sell throughout the week. And you can also go on, we said it, but like dates with your girlfriend. So I think you've got 3 options. What? You can go to the shopping. You can go shopping. Picnic. And
Or the carnival.
Which my girl never liked to go to the carnival. She said
Shopping.
that like she wasn't feeling well that day.
I
or
literally
something
think
like
it's
that.
all coded to be shopping.
shopping.
Like, yeah, that's what I was wondering too. The RNG factor of this game would need to be quite high, I think, for different experiences. But we weren't there yet, and so I don't know.
Part of
how
me
that
thinks, and
works.
I didn't test this theory, is that it's just on a preset roller coaster, meaning that like
I think
if
so
you-
too.
If you know if you've already played and know which stocks are going to do well,
Yeah.
then you can just do that the next time you play the game.
Yep.
I don't think that's the case. It's
Yeah,
a little bit
you're-
different each time.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I researched
We
it.
can't
but
know. We can't know. I
We'll
mean,
never
speed
know.
You can't know. No one has ever played
We'll
this
n-
game more than once.
We'll never
A
know.
speedrunner speedruns this and knows how to manipulate the RNG.
Not only dating your girlfriend, but you need to take care of your physical health. So you can click on the barometer and either go swimming, hiking, or What's the third?
To the gym.
To the gym. Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nolan,
wait.
did you never
Yeah,
take care of your physical health?
No, I did. I mean,
You have
I
to.
didn't play this game.
Or you lose the game. You can lose the game in one of three ways, I believe. You can not reach certain goals that your not lawyer, but whoever the money guy is setting out for you. You have to hit those goals or you lose the game. You have to keep your girlfriend happy or you lose the game. And you have to take care of your health or you lose the game.
Why do you lose the game if you don't keep your girlfriend happy? I try to piece that one together.
It is, again, it's what you're putting off for the community around you. If you can't take care of a girl and you can't take care of your social life, then you're not going to be able to handle this amount of money.
I made this joke in Discord, but it's very accurate with the lose conditions of this game. This is a Patrick Bateman sim from American Psycho.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that too.
It's literally like that's the plot of the movie, except he's also insane. And
doesn't he like murder?
Yeah, but he's seeing things. He thinks he's somebody else. It's a great movie, by the way. It's a really good commentary.
That
materialism.
twist would have made this game a lot more interesting.
It would. Actually, it would. You're also killing people at night.
Yeah.
But this is the world's most boring gameplay loop, though. That is something I wanted to point out. Despite having those different factors,
I don't know if it's just a gameplay loop. Isn't that the loop of real life? That's what you do.
Exactly. Why play a game that's too real? You play games to escape. And also, I thought this would be more of an edutainment kind of game. And is it?
No.
Really?
I mean,
it thinks it is. It kind of wants to be, but it's not at all.
So then, I think it would make a lot more sense, and maybe even be a lot more enjoyable if it were designed to be an edutainment game and not an RPG.
I'm with you.
When edutainment is the upgrade,
dude.
Yeah.
When we wish you'd tried to teach us something, that says really bad things about the game.
Wall Street edutainment game for kids done well. That's not a bad idea. I mean,
no, it's a great idea.
We hate capitalism around here and stuff, but
I don't hate it.
But the the idea of one that could teach you a little bit more. Yeah, this one doesn't. I mean, it might give you the bare necessities of like what stocks are and rising, falling.
Yeah, you could make that and not be gross about it and like teach kids, to be greedy. You could do it in an educational way. It'll be fun.
And I learned this week, buy low, sell high, right? That's something.
That rule is always true.
Okay. I struggled to hit, and this is the game, but I struggled to hit the goals that were given to me throughout this game, particularly the mansion at the end of the first month. So I think after the first week, the guy comes to you and says, "Are you ready to buy the mansion? You've got to have $1 million."
That's $1 million, right?
Yeah, 1 mil. That's nearly by the way, he's like a modest house of 1 mil. And then he comes to you. If you say no, then he comes to you the second week, the third week. But if you don't get it the fourth week, game over. So like you have to within the first month make $1 million, which is not the easiest thing to do going in blind.
Yeah, I also struggle because I put the game down.
Yeah, I knew you.
You're saying it's difficult? Are you saying it's
you
like
give this a few minutes?
Are you saying it's like really hard to build the money in the amount of time you have?
That's
or is
yes,
it?
that's
It's
what I'm
luck-based?
saying.
Well,
I
then
feel like
you
if
invested wrong.
Well,
yeah,
yes.
if the
you're a loser.
threshold was by the first time he tells you to sell the house, it was impossible. I could see it, but by the time you're like on your final warning, I felt like there was time to let your stuff
flex
grow.
in here a little bit. What'd you invest in that did?
Yeah,
so well?
who'd you invest in?
All you do is listen to what they tell you to do. You pay $1,000 for insider information, and then
that's
just
illegal.
do what
That's
she
illegal.
says.
No.
Yeah.
Insider
So-
trading is illegal. That's
I didn't.
the edutainment.
I did not ever go to Connie the arrogant advisor or Stanley the crafty consultant or Ruth the ruthless banker because
Yeah.
I don't need their help. No, I did utilize them. No, I don't think that's the strategy. The strategy that I ended up finding out that works, and it's absolutely silly and makes the game not even a game all the more, is that when you look at the newspaper every morning, you can look at the top stock that's performing well and then just invest everything in there. And when it's no longer there, invest in something else. You won't make the most because you're not going to get it on its first meteoric rise, but you're still going to make enough to be able to beat this game.
You have
Absolutely.
to.
It
in
literally
real life-
tells you what to do.
You need to. No, I didn't think so.
Yes.
Then
In real life, you have to what?
Oh, in real life, you have to pay attention to the world and read a lot.
Yeah, but there's
which-
not a world in this video game.
I know they should have made that computer connect to the internet.
There
you
there
could
is
read
a
some-
world. It's the newspaper. It just does the work for you.
Yeah, but touching a newspaper and smelling it and
Getting
reading
the
it,
ink on
that's
your
asking
hands.
a lot.
Yeah,
And
I'm
not
just-
skipping to the like what's playing at the Regal section.
or no, the crossword section, or the,
Comics.
Yeah, the comics for sure. Dilbert.
Easy.
Okay. We just mentioned it, but you do have a few individuals that show up throughout the game. I'm going to call them your partners in Dime.
Hey!
Oh, that joke was on
I'm
par
putting up
with
tears.
the quality of the humor in this game.
But we named a few of them, but you do have someone for insider information. You have someone that will tell you a little bit about stocks if you pay him. You've got a banker that you can actually
a banker.
later
Yep.
take collateral out on your home and so that you can buy a yacht, which is super smart thing to do. And other things
Second
like that.
mortgage.
You've also got these individuals that come up throughout that are little checkpoints of like your girlfriend wants you to buy her a dog, and so you meet this guy that's selling dogs, and you can either buy a more expensive one, a less expensive one, or not buy her a dog. Bad idea. You've got that for purchasing a car as well, a stereo system. Like,
Okay, Dustin, how uncomfortable were you this whole game? Because I know a lot of people in the world, not that many, but I have met human beings.
yes,
And of the human beings I've met, you're one of the most frugal I
okay.
know.
I wanted you to use the correct word.
Yeah. That's a good word.
Frugal's fine. There are a few
Someone
said
there. See, and I don't think I'm cheap, but I am frugal. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you are a very careful and conservative person who
Yes.
cares about using money and
Yes.
using it carefully and thoughtfully. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. This game just wants you to ball. Like all it wants you to do
ball so hard.
is like make bank, spend bank, and like that is the point. Did you have weird cognitive dissonance every time you needed to buy the most expensive thing to get a girl?
Oh, I'll just say that every time my girlfriend wanted something, I gave her the cheapest version of it because she's gonna be happy with a $500 dog just as much as a $1,000 dog. When she went 4 hours to shop, and I assume spending my money, I was not okay with that either. But here's the thing: when you have the money that I currently have in real life, you're going to be more frugal. When you have $500,000, I think I'd be a little bit more liberal. When you have 600 billion, I don't know if I'd think about it much anymore.
No, yeah, you kind of just do what you want at that point.
Aged.
This game has aged, and we'll talk about some of the ways it's aged like as a game, but I first want to talk about how it's aged like as a concept, because the way we interact with information, the way someone would go about like trading stocks and how that looks and what that would even mean, even the way we'd go about buying and making big purchases in life all look so wildly different today than they did in 1990 that it almost feels foreign. There's almost a sort of like time capsule-y historic like relic slice of the past thing going on here that's sort of endearing but also makes it feel very dated.
Of course, yeah, it's a product of its time. I do agree with you. It's endearing to some degree, but it is like a time capsule for sure. It is not something that I would imagine it's not something that would connect with the younger generation of gamers today. I think this is like for a very subset of retro gamers, like a very select subset
Very
of
select.
retro gamers.
Do you think so? The modern equivalent of this would be an actual sim. You know, we've got sim, farming sim, literally all those types of games, where it would be you sitting at a computer doing like real stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of gamer could go back and play this game, or do you think it's like
No.
because I kind of think it's beyond any kind of enjoyment because of
But-
the age factor, but also just the concept itself. Maybe in 90 was weird.
See, I think the concept is fine. I just don't think they did a good job with it. I think you could make a game around
Edutainment.
stock trading and, you know, like simulating that whole lifestyle that they try and go for, but like do
See, that's the
really
weird part to
poorly.
me.
You could do that, but they didn't do a good job with it here. And so, no, even if this is your thing, unless you have weird like nostalgic reasons that you played this game as a kid or something, like you're not gonna want to.
But beyond that, the reward factor is not there for a video game. Like
The loop is not.
the loop's not
is
there. You'd
good.
want you the person that sits down to play this, first of all, is probably not a gamer first and foremost. And if you are, then you're like, bro, turn this off. Like, put Mario in. Are you insane?
I don't know. I can do a slower paced thing. Kenny can too. Kenny plays like Civ and all these weird things. I like tycoon games. I've historically liked them. My wife specifically likes tycoon games. In fact, she's playing a game right now that most people wouldn't like because I think it's called Overcrowded, and it's a commuting simulation.
Oh, wow.
You are like
Nice.
building a London underground
Yeah.
type environment and setting prices of the tickets and all these things. A lot of people wouldn't like that. I get it. But so tycoon, business sim, that stuff kind of works for me. And I agree with Kenny. I think a game could be made where you are managing stocks and still keep it simplistic like this. I do like its simplistic nature in that you can only have 5 and there's only a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half different
Not a
stocks
lot.
in the first place. But there's not maybe enough complexity.
You're not making meaningful decisions. Like if there were a few stocks that were going to be winners, but then you had to read a newspaper and there was actual articles that gave you like real information to work with,
It's a
that
lot,
you
but
had
yeah.
to then choose which one like was the most likely to actually be a winner. And if you didn't like suss that out, you weren't going to make the money or something. You need some reason to think and engage here and not just like phone
What
it in.
would have helped me
anything.
eat this up is a like scenario based progression where it's, and I'm going to use this comparison, just humor me, but like LA Noire, where you've got scenarios and not levels, but just different things that you're investigating and doing. If they set those up per, weeks or something and had you hit a couple of goals that you had on a list, and you could like interview people and talk to other bankers and stuff like that, and you could just hit those goals, that's reward. That's a reason to progress and to like sit down at a desk and do boring crap. But because, and I understand you can't really do that on an NES. So again, the game's super old. It's not going to be fun for anybody.
Oh wow.
not.
Let's talk graphics. I don't think that's where it struggles or like where it suffers or like it's fine. It's
Agreed.
It
NES.
drives.
I would say the primary thing that you're looking at is that office view, and it's like in the top left. It's not even like a full screen thing, so it's not the best, but I don't think it's problematic.
No, and the bigger visual assets with people and the stuff going on, as well as like the sprite work for the faces on the people, are actually fine to good. Now, there's not enough of it. They need more. It needed more variety, and definitely sitting there in the office is super dull. But that's more a like UI UX problem than like a graphics problem
And an IRL problem.
Yeah, exactly. For what they had to work with visually, it looks fine. It's just like insanely boring
and tedious. And I would say that with the music as well. Like, I don't think, honestly, any individual track is bad, but it is incredibly repetitive, and you've got a single track for every day in the office, and I think the loop is about 10 seconds long, and so you'll go crazy listening to that no matter how good
It's a job.
Yeah,
it's a job.
It's a mute it and put on your own sound kind of game.
It's a
not because
listen
it's
to
like
a podcast
grading.
and play.
Yeah, not because it's like grading or super awful, but because it's just repetitive and NES.
It's a listen to this podcast and play.
Yeah.
Oh,
or don't
okay.
play.
And just listen to this.
and
And
don't
don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah, go play Zelda. Yeah.
There is a series of Wall Street Kid, and it's called Real Life Go to Wall Street and Bear and Bull Market.
Say again.
He's saying
Say it
if
again.
you want to be
you
more
want
interesting
more of
than
this.
this game, just go actually invest in
Oh,
stocks.
I thought
is
you
what
were
he's saying.
okay.
No, there's not a
No.
series. It was just this. And they did. Sofel made other things.
I mean, wasn't even this a sequel to another kind of game like this in Japan?
Yeah, because this one is called The Money Game 2.
2.
It was a sequel
So
to The
they-
Money Game.
They had the money game in Japan. It was probably better than
Well, both of these are from Japan. Like, this one
Yeah.
was from Japan.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they...
like, yeah.
It was smart
Yeah,
of them
they
to like connect it
internationalized
to Wall
it.
Street Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you do want a copy of this game for your Nintendo, if you want a cartridge, it's $15 used, loose. It's $57 new. Is that a worthy investment?
So yeah, this was not a
No.
good investment on either
But it
front.
is. It should be cheaper.
It's cheaper than Tears of the Kingdom.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status. It's our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Nolan, I don't think you liked this game.
I have to return some videotapes. Patrick Bateman.
Oh.
I'm more excited about paying this toll bill that's on my desk than I am talking about this game, playing this game, recommending it.
Wow.
I mean, it's barely a game. I think it's an extremely boring gameplay loop. There's no reason to like spend time playing the game. You don't get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And it's because they didn't take the edutainment angle. It's it ends up being a what kind of game is this game, where you're just like lost and asking yourself why, what, who made this, and those kind of games frustrate me a lot. And when it feels like a real job, I sit down to, escape real life for a second to play a game, and it feels like a job. Come on. I can't recommend this game to anyone. No New Game Plus. Please.
That's one no. Kenny, what did you think?
Yeah, certainly not New Game Plus. So the NES has a special place in my heart, and I don't think there's any reason you couldn't make a trading sim or a Wall Street Tycoon style game and make it interesting. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have recollections of playing similar type games on my TI-83, literally on a calculator, like back in high school when I
Those
was
games
trying to
were
like
lit.
avoid physics,
That's true, Kenny.
and actually had a great time with it, because you can make this kind of game entertaining. You really can. But this one was it was a stinker. It was so phoned in. Not only is it bad, but it's also like bad, like gross. Like the game is like
Yeah, it is.
morally repugnant. The messages it conveys
Yeah.
are like icky.
Toxic.
Don't get me wrong. I get that like self-care, health, and fitness are good, as are valuing your relationships, but that's not what this was actually about. It was about flexing your money and keeping up appearances and trying to like be something, and the way you got there was just like not okay. Anyhow, bad, icky, gross game. Kind of interesting to see this sort of peek into time and like conceptions about trading and how all that worked, but 100% invest your time in playing something else. No New Game Plus at all.
Right. Correct.
That was probably more that you had to say about that game than any other game that we played.
But that's certainly not true. You know, I'm always holding
Invested.
back.
Ooh. I agree with the guys, although honestly, I probably think there's a little bit more game and enjoyment to be had than what they are saying. I was not intrigued until I started playing, and then I was somewhat intrigued for a little bit. But I ultimately agree with the guys, and even with Kenny's statements on the moral repugnacity of the game.
Well said. I would play this game again if someone
Why?
gave me $600 billion to do it.
I'd take less if anyone's interested.
Yeah, that's a negotiable amount if we want to auction off a replay of this game.
I also do not give this game my vote for New Game Plus status, which means Wall Street Kid is not New Game Plus certified. And if I am correct, it is the first game to get that from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games ago. Now, some of them were special episodes, so where
We had a bunch of those.
No, just 2. Three.
That's a bunch.
Director episode, director's core, and a guest episode, but all of those are green on our retro master list, including Future Cop LAPD and Basson's Black Bass. But
So you're saying
this
is the
game,
first of the year? No New
is
Game
that
Plus
what
of the
that
year?
means?
Maybe?
No, we've done more than that many episodes. We're halfway through the year, almost.
Are we? It's been our first negative since February. Yeah, so
Okay,
not
but
first of the
still,
year.
I so far when we get the stats at the end of the year of where did we land,
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a positive year.
Also, I'm really sad
We'll
that
see.
I just saw that Doshin the Giant did not get New Game Plus status.
It's not too late for us to get 9 no New Game Pluses in a row now.
That's true.
All right, so let's see what our community had to say on YouTube. 8% said yes, Wall Street Kid is worth playing today. 10% said no, and 82% have obviously never played it before.
Stonks.
To be honest with you, most of the time these stats do not surprise me. Zach from our community wrote in and said, imagine 2 8-year-olds trying to buy/sell stocks, buy a castle and woo their sweetheart. As weird as that sounds, that's how I was introduced to this game when my friend got it randomly one summer. This was a game that I kept borrowing from him over the years, even when fancy new systems came out, because I was determined to beat it. It took some time, but I finally figured it out. This game has been on my Patreon pull list for some time because I love this weird, wacky NES title. I don't expect others to enjoy it, and that's okay. The music isn't great, the graphics are simple, and while there is a story, it's a pretty weak one. Even saying all that, I still find it fun to play and a good challenge. I enjoy juggling all the tasks and trying to build up my empire. It's a nostalgic NGP for me.
Do you know there are a lot of video games in existence, There's a
Listen, there's games,
Mario?
there's
Have
weird
you heard
games
of
we're all
Mario?
connected to from our
I
childhood.
get it, but this one felt
That's
more like
true.
a curse than a connection.
There's also things that happened to us in our childhood that mean we should go talk to a therapist.
My
And this might be
goodness. Wall
closer to
Street.
that than to a game that you have nostalgia for.
Zach, it's always fun when your Patreon pull submission gets pulled randomly.
It is.
So,
Yeah, that's
congratulations.
Please pick something cooler on your next
Okay,
one.
Garlisle said every once in a while we get a game that feels kind of held back by its hardware. In this case, the NES just can't display nearly as much information in one place as I'd actually want for this kind of game. That makes for a whole lot of note-taking and paging back and forth in a slow interface, harming any chance of this game landing any hooks. It's just not fun. Good for helping me to get to sleep, though.
Buzzing.
Max Mister said, not everyone may find this game appealing, particularly those who already spend most of their days in a sedentary desk job. While it has some educational value for children, it may not be the ideal game for conventional gamers. However, it can provide an enjoyable way to spend an afternoon with numerous scenarios and options to explore. This point-and-click game may be likened to a Wall Street RPG with randomized stocks.
Nope.
Offering unique gameplay experiences each time. If you're a fan of retro games and appreciate an easy-going RPG-style game, you might enjoy giving this game a shot. If you're a fan of retro games and appreciate... I already said that. While it may not leave you in awe, this game can be entertaining, especially after you've played it a few times. This game does demand a learning curve, but once it's mastered, it can be incredibly fun. NGP for me.
That's Warren Buffett. That's his handle. That's Warren Buffett.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
He is still alive, and he would not like this game.
Who's the richest man? Jeff Bezos?
I don't know at this point.
I don't know either.
Of billionaires. But what I was going to say was that you're lying.
And finally, Harold said, Wall
Okay.
Street Kid is a game I never knew existed, so I was excited to try it out. At first, it was a bit frustrating.
What?
I kept getting the game over screen before even buying the house. Something did trigger me to keep trying a few times, and eventually I succeeded. Fairly quickly after that, I would start using save states and became very, very rich. Overall, it is fun, but I did find several flaws. The cursor is slow, the music is repetitive, and the gameplay loop doesn't seem to evolve the further you get into the game. Overall, not bad, but not great, so I won't come back to this game. I don't think you'll miss much if you skip this one.
I didn't harp on it too much, but I mentioned it and left it. But that cursor movement on the NES with the D-pad is really slow, man, and it's bad.
It's not good, yeah.
Doesn't feel good at all.
For now and forever, we're going to set aside Wall Street Kid, and we're going to randomly select from our Retro Master list and
I'm
find out
excited.
what the next game we're going to be not playing for the next 7 days, because instead we're playing Tears of the Kingdom, and that game is... We're going to be playing a video game that came out in 1991 by GameTech for the Nintendo Entertainment System. We're not going anywhere. We're staying here.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Maybe-
as
back
long
to
as
Maybe
it's
we
back.
redeem it a little.
Maybe.
It is based on a 1989 television show.
Oh no.
It could. Hold on. Home Improvement was good. Speaking of.
It was ported many times, but we're playing the, of course, NES version. It is the original one, the one that was submitted. And for the next 7 days, we are going to be playing the game called American Gladiators.
Oh.
No.
I love the show.
I
But-
don't know anything about the
but-
game, but
yeah.
this show used to get kid me absolutely
Name
high.
a gladiator. Storm?
Thunder.
It was neither one of those.
Yeah,
it was
for
Storm.
sure.
Thunder was 100%.
Nolan, you
one.
probably came in the second version of American Gladiators.
I don't know.
We'll have
I
to
mean,
talk about it
maybe.
next week. But find a copy of the NES version of American Gladiators. There's no way it's going to be good. Maybe if it was for a later system. And play it along with us for the next 7 days.
You can also join our Discord server by going to discord.gg/newgameplus.
We want to say thank you to those of you who support us on patreon.com with your ongoing support and patronage of the show. We are worth investing in. So Oolong Brothers realized that this week and joined us as a patron for the first
Hey.
time. So
Oolong
welcome.
Brothers.
Of course, we want to say thank you to our director level supporters who go truly above and beyond. Bro Jim, Daniel, Garlisle, and Super Hypered. You are blue chip stocks to our heart. We've also got a large list of producer level supporters as well that we are so appreciative, including Adam, Alex, Amarlian, Antonin, Ben, Big Dude, Brunt, DH Bowser, Ellis, Fishy, Francesca, Gimbin, J. Robert, Jared, Joey, Jordan, Justin, Clint, Nicknack, Corey, Lauwai, Levi, Maxima, Pedro, Sajin, Shauna, Subsonic Demon, Tazelhoff, Thomas, Unbedavable, and Zion. Thanks so much for your support. You guys are the best.
I always miss you not saying Secret Duck of Evermore anymore. So if you're out there, support us again. You can follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. All of those links are in the show notes. Also, remember the link to the links are in the show notes below as well. The links to the meat links.
Oh,
I see what you
okay.
did.
Well done.
Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review like this 5-star review from Noodles the 7th. This podcast is truly amazing. You can feel all the care and effort that Kenny puts into the show. And thanks to him, this podcast has become what it is today. Not only is Kenny able to provide extremely smart and objective commentary on the games they review, he is able to do so while simultaneously being hilarious and enjoyable to listen to. Not only is Kenny a good podcaster, Kenny is a good person. Dustin, on the other hand, is a vile creature who desires to stop Kenny from reaching his full potential. Hang in there, Kenny. We're all rooting for you. P.S. Nolan is cool.
Hey, Dustin's the only one that got pooped on. Kenny,
You
why'd
just
write
got put
that?
on blast. I feel like I wrote that. I feel like I woke up at 2 a.m. one morning delirious and just like reviewed our own
Okay,
podcast.
Let's be real. You would never take the time
Give
to
it 5
rate and
stars.
review and give it 5 stars.
You give it a 4.
No, I'd give it 4,
I
and then we have a huge
cannot.
argument about it.
Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play American Gladiators. Until then, I'm still a billionaire.
I wish.
I'm boing.
And this has been New Game Plus. Cha-ching!